Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Definitely an interesting leaderboard after round one of the FedEx St. Jude Classic. Lisa Cornwell, Billy Kratzer, Trevor Immelman here to take you through all the highlights and much more from around the world of golf for the next 60 minutes right here on Golf Central. Billy, let's begin in Memphis. What caught your eye after round one there?
Well, for two players to go out, two of our three leaders to go out there and make 8 birdies, I mean, that was pretty impressive. But north wind today for the players, but just about every player, if they were able to hit a lot of greens, Lisa, they were able to make a lot of putts. Since going to Bermuda greens, the players have really enjoyed playing TPC Southwind, and I think going forward it's going to be an exciting weekend, and it looks like the players are just going to go low, 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 low.
And Billy, I always enjoyed going to this tournament. Great golf course, fantastic barbecue, great sponsors there in FedEx, but most importantly, the work that this tournament does in support of St. Jude and the work that St. Jude Hospitals does for families that are struggling with children that are ill is just so incredible. And so as a player, to be able to be a part of that is something that is so special. And take my hat off to everybody who's involved this week. Yeah,
it's a great facility, and anybody who's had a chance, as I'm sure you have as a player, to go through and walk through an experience, it's unbelievable, life-changing, really. Let's go through some of these highlights, starting with Charles Schwartzel at the par 4 15th.
128 yards. And you can tell when a player holds that finish just like that, and that goes to about 4 feet. Right now, he's got it on cruise control.
That birdie would get Charles to 4 under. Let's stay with him now. The par 5 16th, his third.
Up at the green and 2 here on the par 5. This chip shot's just getting away from him here, running down the hill. It leaves himself an uphill putt, and this is a part of his game that has really come on in the last 12 months. Even the ones he thinks he's missed, he makes, Billy. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I just couldn't tell by that.
The 65 for him on day one. Scott Brown still trying to get that first PGA Tour title here at 9, a long birdie attempt.
Yeah, and this one just kind of drifting down towards the water and just in on that right-hand side. He would go to 4 under par.
Staying with Brown now at 15, his approach.
On the short 15th, he's just got a little wedge in here to that front flag. Controls the distance beautifully.
Brown at 5 under, moving in the right direction here at the par 5 16th, his second.
234 yards. This was the easiest hole on the golf course today. Having to work the ball right to left and just a friendly little hop right there, just short of the green. And then he would have this for eagle.
I like the aggressive move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Give it a run, right?
A little heavy-handed. But when
Some of us are always heavy-handed.
When you can putt like this, you can be aggressive with the chips.
There you go, and aggressive with the score too. You got to like this, a 6 under 64. Stewart Cink for birdie at 18.
Well, really has come into form as of late. Played well at Colonial a couple weeks ago, and just didn't quite know if that had enough to reach, but sneaks in there.
Cink started on 10. He's at 4 under now. We're staying with him here at 7. This to save par.
And you can see that interesting type of a pencil grip that he's using there to great effect on these holes, making some long putts, and that helps the scorecard for sure.
Certainly does. A lot of red out there. Cink now his approach at 9.
Yeah, finishing his round, start on number 10, and this from 159 yards, and just coasted in there flag high.
So we had that 8-footer for birdie, and if you followed him, you know what he did.
Yeah, I think you could guess the result.
Be pleased with that opener every time. 6 under 64 for Stewart Cink. A little breezy in Memphis, but you expect that, I guess, this time of year. Thankfully, no rain, though. These guys out there throwing darts and throwing around a lot of birdies. 3 guys at the top of the leaderboard. Let's hear from some of the names you see right there.
I was relaxed out there. I'm still a little bit tired, you know, after Monday, and it takes a little longer at 44 to get over those kind of days. But, you know, I did a pretty good job managing myself out there and not getting too, you know, too bent out of shape about anything good or bad that happened, and taking it all in. And it was a solid day. Really, every part of the game was really pretty solid today.
It's so hard to win out here, but it's so hard to do it for 4 consecutive days too. So, you know, you just keep coming out and trying to do the same stuff, and hopefully you hit it well and make some putts and end up on top.
I played pretty good all day. Middle of the round got a little away from me, but I saved some shots, and I haven't been doing that lately. And then I played pretty solid the last few holes, so it was a good day. I was kind of due for one.
He said he was due for one. He meant it. It hasn't been the ride Matt ever expected since winning the Arnold Palmer Invitational in 2015. In 55 starts, he's missed the cutter WD 43 times and only has 4 top 40 finishes. He's also fallen from 40th to 1,255th in the official World Golf Ranking. He was all smiles, and I guess when you throw up a number like that, he is all smiles and should be. But what will the sleep be like for him tomorrow? How much pressure will he put on himself in round 2 trying to follow up what he did on day 1?
Well, Matt, he could have put overdue in front of that statement. But I think he puts pressure on himself. All the pressure is going to come inward. And if he can just calm that down a little bit, that's going to be hard to do because he's a very excitable player. Anxiety sometimes takes over, but hopefully he goes out there and he plays well. As I said earlier, he's only had 7 rounds under par this year. And to go ahead and just keep teeing it up, that's hard to do.
I got to say, I'm very proud of him. Sitting here as a fellow professional golfer, I know what it's like. I got some personal experience with struggling like that. And so for him to go out on a golf course that's as hard as this one, I know we saw a lot of birdies today. The course was a little softer than what we used to. But for him to go out there and make 4 birdies and an eagle when he hasn't played well in a while, it's great stuff to keep a clean sheet. And I'm rooting for him to go out there and shoot another good score tomorrow.
Just quickly, how do you stay out of your own way when that's happening?
It's very difficult. I don't think I could tell you one thing that you need to do. You just got to keep grinding.
Yeah.
There's not like a pill you can take or one thing you can think of or one thing you can work on. Who knows what the answer to that may be? You got to just go back to basics, start little by little to start believing in yourself, believing in your game, working on the right things, and hope that that page turns. And hopefully today is the day that he has started a new run and a new chapter, and he can get going again this week.
And making a lot of putts certainly helps to turn the page on that old storyline. Billy, what about the other 2 guys at the top, Stuart Sink and Scott Brown?
Well, you look at Stuart Sink in greens and regulation, he's solid, 12th on the tour. You look at his scoring average, 14th, but he and his swing coach, they made a little minuscule change in his swing going into Colonial, and he's seen instant results, and that's always good for a player. But he hasn't won in quite some time. He has 8 top 25s this year, a couple of top 10. But going forward, you know, having not won in all those years, it's important that he just stays in the moment and continues on, because he needs to get back in the winner's circle. The more years you go, the tougher it gets without winning.
All right, let's hear from one of the players right on the co-leader's heels, Charles Schwartzel with George Savaricas.
All right, a nice first round for Charles Schwartzel. How'd you put together that 5 under 65?
Well, I mean, this golf course, you really have to do everything well. It shows your weakness pretty quickly. So, you know, I drove it well, good iron shots, and I think the putter is always the key to low scoring. Gave myself a lot of chances, but I took advantage of them. You know, through the back 9, I had a few scratchy holes, but you know, chipped out and still managed to save my pars, which is going to serve me well for next week too.
What's it like standing over the ball on the greens when you're rolling it that well?
You know, that's part of the game that probably grows your confidence the quickest and knocks it the quickest too. You know, it's the putting. So I've been putting actually pretty decent. I haven't played much since the Masters, but I putted well there. And last week I felt good, but didn't make much. So it's just nice to hit some aggressive putts today, and they all went in. So it was good.
You can always learn a lot from listening to that man talk after a round. He's always so calm, cool, and collected, but you mentioned it earlier, how well he putts and how well he's putting right now. I loved what he said, that it's always the key to low scoring, and you could see that confidence with a putter in his hand today.
Yeah, he was not lying. He gained 4.5 strokes on the field on the greens today, got off to a tremendous start, birding 4 of the first 5 holes. And Charles has always played tough courses well because he has a lot of power and he hits the ball tremendously high. And so he can land the ball soft and really attack certain pins that some other players aren't able to. And so when he does start to warm the putter up, like we've seen so far this year, is 24th in putting, which is really good. And we saw the 3rd at the Masters. If this trend continues on a US Open style golf course that I think by this weekend, this course is going to start firming up, going into the US Open at Erin Hills next week, he's definitely a guy to watch, and it's great to see him playing some solid golf.
He certainly is, and is carrying a lot of confidence. One guy who's trying to get it moving in that direction. And when you talk about getting the putter hot, when Phil Mickelson gets that putter hot, watch out. Lefty trying to win this tournament. He's made a lot of birdies here in years past, making his 5th appearance. This is the par 5 third after a left drive in the trees, a 2nd in the water. Here's his 4th.
Well, just inside 170 yards, and right now Phil Mickelson just trying to do a little damage control early in the round, and this lengthy putt from 36 feet, you can see just a little bit of a grain change. The lighter color, that means it's down grain, so it's going to be a little bit quicker, but a second shot in the hazard, as you said, Lisa, leads to a bogey.
That would drop him back to even par, now at the par 3 4th from 183 off the tee.
A fantastic par 3 here over a little pond and bunker that guards the green. And Phil hits a beautiful medium iron in there and leaves himself a little left to right putt for birdie. There's a great angle here on his stroke. Keeps the putter head nice and low to the ground, also using that pencil grip. And what a great way to bounce back after the bogey on the par 5.
No question.
Gets him back to -1. Let's stay with Lefty. Go now to the par 4 5th, and again on the green. Could he keep the magic going with a putter?
Yeah, and trying to keep the momentum going, Lisa, after the birdie, and this putt from just inside 20 feet, and just kind of walks it in calmly and remains 1 under par.
He never gets too nervy early when he's having those par saves. Mickelson now at 6th, his 3rd.
Now this is the hallmark of his game here. Look at that ball taking a look. Might even have clipped the edge of the cup there. Perfectly executed by Phil. And goes
Was
on
he
to save
thinking
his
about
par.
making that one?
I think so.
He always is, right?
You know he was, but this is why we like to watch Phil, right here. Lob shot comes down as softly as you could imagine, eases its way down there to 5 feet.
He would make par, and he's back to even par at that point. Now at the par 4 12th, number 3 for him.
Once again, much the same as the 6th hole, just controls the spin beautifully with such tremendous contact on the ball. And another par save.
Let's go to the 17th, his 3rd from the thick grass behind the green.
Yeah, and you can see just a little short swing, that 64-degree sand wedge that he carries, and he uses so effectively, he would make par.
And now his 2nd into 18 from 158.
After a beautiful drive there, hugging the waterline, coming in here with an 8 or 9 iron, ball landing nice and soft. That must have looked beautiful to him, tracking online with the flag. And this is exactly how he'd want to finish the day. Nice birdie to get himself into red figures.
Might have been his best iron shot of the day.
And it really is a lesson to everybody watching golf, just how being patient and being resilient and believing in yourself, especially when it comes to that short game, can pay off, because that's what Phil Mickelson does. He doesn't have to hit it great to put up a decent number.
Well, he certainly doesn't. And to get away with 69 today with the way that he drove it, amazing.
Let's hear from Lefty after his round.
The score was okay. I had to fight to get it under par, and I have been coming into this week. I've been driving the ball very well, and I drove it very poorly today. And it's tough to play this golf course from the rough and from out of the fairway because the greens are small. They're challenging. There's a lot of water, and if you're coming in with flyers, it's very difficult to control it. So I had to fight hard just to keep it around par under, and made a birdie on the last hole to get to under. This is a successful day in the sense that it's a round that I could have easily shot 3, 4, 5 over, but I got it under par. I'll get this thing turned around hopefully overnight with Andrew Getson. We'll get it right back to where it was heading into this week, and if I can drive it well tomorrow, I think I have a mid to low round in the 60s.
You've been asked a lot this week about the U.S. Open, but how much about this week is just about being in good shape for the meat of the golf season as we head forward?
Well, I would just say that this is a great golf tournament, and I want to be ready to play and compete this week. I think that I'll have a few weeks off, and so this is my last event. I want to put everything I have into this tournament. I want to fight hard and give myself a good chance on the weekend. I've played well here. I've been in contention the last 3 or 4 years. Have not won it. I'd love to. I'd love to win this tournament. It'd be it'd be a special win for me.
And what is it about this course that this suits your eye so well, seemingly, because you have played here very well?
I think that the greens are small, and guys are going to miss a lot of greens, and so scrambling is important. And I've scrambled around here very well, and it's difficult because you get Bermuda rough, Bermuda fairways, grainy grass, and if you haven't grown up on it, unfortunately I have, it's hard to decipher and to figure out how the ball's going to come out. And I kind of worked my way around the greens, getting up and down on a lot of holes to salvage pars to shoot this round.
Bill, they released the tee times today for the U.S. Open. You are on there. Are you still holding out hope that maybe something can happen? Or
well, there's no sense for me to withdraw today because if there's some kind of delay and I can make it Thursday night and still make it, I'd like to do that. The weather looks to be pretty good, so that's unlikely to happen. But there's no sense for you to pull out now today. But it is important that the USGA knows so that they could make accommodations accordingly, as well as the next alternate, which I believe I think I know who the next alternate is, so he's excited.
We'll discuss Phil's status in the U.S. Open. Very wise comments from him coming up. But let's talk about his round today. Because, look, we showed a lot of par saves, but if we had shown Phil off the tee, everybody would have shot, he thought, 80. And it's really the beauty of this guy. And not just his magical abilities on the greens, but his magical abilities to change the words afterwards and kind of convince us, look, I just need to do a few little things. He said it. He goes, I have a round in the 60s in me.
Well, and I'm sure he does. And what he's going to do is he's going to get Andrew Getson, and they're going to go to the range, and they're going to solve the riddle as to why he's not finding the fairways. But what I like most about Mickelson is the way that he now is starting to get the ball up and down, and he doesn't necessarily have to hit it all that close. But this was kind of the bounce back where he made the bogey at number 3. This was for birdie. He went back to the putter that he used at Troon. Where he played so well, that putt for par. You can see the confidence. He went back to this putter because all the other putters that he was trying, the ball came off the putter face just a little too quickly. And that putt at 15. And then this, of course, at 17, the nice up and down. And then at the 18th hole, we saw him make that putt, and it was a day that we saw Mickelson kind of scratch around out, and up until that birdie on the 18th hole, his last birdie was on the 4th hole, so he had gone 13 holes without making a birdie, just hanging in there. Let me hang in there. Oh, my total is 69. I shot 1 under par. And the reason, that's what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that he can say that he has a round in the mid-60s with confidence after the round is because he knows he can rely on his short game any day of the week. So if they can go out there and just find a couple good swings tomorrow, he'll make some birdies. But I just wanted to highlight some of these pitch shots here. This is on number 6. Just watch the technique. And I think for the amateurs at home, this one here on number 12, long backswing to a short, aggressive follow through. And he has such fantastic contact because of the speed of the club head through impact and through the turf. And he can create so much spin and control with those little wedge shots and those little chips. And you highlighted the fact that he went to the old putter and he's making some more putts. And that's why, you know, he knows he's going to be able to rely on that tomorrow. If he can just find a few more fairways, he'll have a low round.
How difficult will that be, finding a few more fairways?
I don't think it's going to be difficult because when he and Andrew Getson do their work together, they really don't go off the grid. I mean, they work on fundamentals quite a lot. They work on the posture. They try to get everything set up because sometimes Phil gets a little out of sorts, but they look about ball position, alignment. I mean, it is fundamentals. They don't do a lot of wild stuff.
I don't think it'll be that hard because I believe that they know what the issue is. It's not like they're going to go to the range and have to hit 5 or 6 bags searching. No. I think they know what the issue is. He just wasn't able to do it out on the golf course
Maybe
today.
just put that trusty 2-wood back. I mean, if we're putting old clubs back in the bag that he won in 2013, go with that one. Might work at TPC Southwind. Well, Phil said he plans to skip the U.S. Open this year to attend his daughter's high school graduation, but the USGA is giving him every opportunity to make his tee time at Erin Hills. Plus, Ricky Fowler is having a slow start to his lead-in to the U.S. Open. More first-round highlights are on the way. And Ariya Jutanugarn is looking to put herself on top of the world rankings for the first time in her young career. You'll get to see what she did to improve her position. It's all ahead on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by
The new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. ShipSticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.